Hello and welcome as today's date comes in that of Friday, 18th day of October 2019. My name is Derek All Bets Trades and of the like. Well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. I know this, just hide the volume in here. As it doesn't mean anything on the Bitcoin dominance, which is what this will start off within, as this level represented the most earlier before level of key support, which was resisted. And then this level of support was established in here with a few runs up higher, which obviously lower high, well, of course, to this level, and then a lower low from this low, breaking down below this level of support. I look at this as either way, there's going to be a failed move one way or the other, in the sense of after failing to go going below here and then just holding this level and then having this fast move up, that's a failed breakdown. But this has the potential to be the failed breakout as well within this move, as you have a breakout above the 18, you come back to it, and it's holding it, it's in the 18, it could still succeed. In fact, leaving a breaking above it is bullish, but it seems as if we're in that crossroad period for Bitcoin, and I'm using this as a prelude towards it, of very, very large, interesting moves. And cryptos are down today. And amongst Bitcoin itself, from this high, and this last high is in at let's get the volume back in. At 8,800, major level of support, lower high. Lower low, lower high. Lower low, and I can even count this as that lower high in here because that's where the correctionary move came, just a major time correction. Lower low, lower high, lower low. There has been numerous amongst what has been this downtrend that has been going on since the high on October the 11th. So 1 week, the entire week has been a down move from this high, and this is a single hour term time frame. What is that high? Well, that's deep, or that's long. I always say shorten. What's the opposite of the word short? Longer in? Well, that's longer in the time frame. I will not keep using that like I did like excitation. I like that word. I don't like longer in. Almost sounds like laundry or something. A long, but let's do the 3 hour. And amongst it, we've had this major support in here, which is pretty much close to where we are now. Just one small regular move would pierce below it. But that move that we talk about was a break over this level of resistance in here, which, and matching up really within this high in here and this whole general area. But it has been, again, a long sustain, many lower highs, many lower lows. About as many, maybe one or so less, but almost as many, I should say. Same thing happened in here. Okay, it kept on going, and then all of a sudden it went higher. And that's what you expect when you're in a sideways range, that until it breaks it, it's in that range. And well, that's what it was like beforehand when we take a look at this even deeper on the daily term. As we had the price have this level of support, originally established it here, and it kind of still was, but just in this general 9,600 to 91 was support. We haven't even, the highest we've seen with this rally was almost 9,000. This was a little over 9,000, so that was a very noticeable pierce below this level of key support. And all this has done is just do this, like what people would call like a flag pattern, like a bear flag if you go down like this. A bull flag is going up and then going sideways on that kind of level. And it's got to break it one side or another. I've said this many times before in the last little while. Well, obviously, all the time. You should get a significant break on a break of a range. But breaking it to the upside, I would expect it to get at least to this previous key level at around 96.44. But even more likely, even to get above it and even above and near the 10,000 even number. And on a break of this support, I don't got it shown in here, but I got big Fibonacci at the low 6,000 area around 63. I would expect it to pierce below that, and even again, just like the 10,000 number, same thing on the 6. Probably hit it evenly, and even hit the high 5,000, like 559 or whatever. If, of course, it ends up breaking this support, I would expect either way of a break of support or resistance for it to be some sort of concise move. This was a concise breakdown. This was a concise rally, as was this. Almost certainly all of these pretty much are concise. Concise breakdown, yada yada. Now, I like to use that word instead because sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's not. As it can do like nice little grinding ways, either down or grinding ways up, can even way be the case, like really what like the case was here. Because like, oh my goodness, like 8, 9, 10 good days and a couple pretty good ones instead of like 2, 3, oh my goodness days kind of deal. Because it could have went from like 7,000 to like 9,000 in one day. Either way, that's just what markets do. Now let's move it on to Bitcoin Cash, which I'm bringing this up because I'm looking to buy some today for the purposes of what I've been talking about within player props, cloud betting, and I'm making most likely more selections this weekend. I made small bets overall, and what I lost last night was about 3% of what I lost on the market. Or better yet, way of putting it actually, what I am staking in that game is about 30% of what I lost just in the last like 18 or 16 hours or so. I'm down 3 times more in my last 16 hours than I am in dollar terms than I am staking for this kind of game. But I got three college football bets I'm probably going to make tomorrow, Saturday, and then the NFL ones. And it's Friday morning. Now, this looks like it's going down. I don't want to buy my Bitcoin Cash yet. And technically speaking, I don't even have to. I can buy it later in a sense, meaning I got a few tethers ready to go. But why do I want to buy it now? This to me looks like it's breaking down. As we've had this long big move below that broke its level of key support at 271. Oh, and how has the market reacted after the fact? Well, it went sideways with this failed breakout. Oh, and now what's happened after the failed breakout? And how many times have I said I want if I see weakness amongst the 18? Ooh, baby. Well, that's what I see over the last 3 days. An aggressive play for me was just to take a bunch of my Bitcoin Cash from my wallet, put it on the exchange, sell it on the market, and buy it cheaper. But I'm not going to do that. I know if I do that, it's going to be lights out. Oh, we're 400 the next day. That's just how I look at it. I don't know. But I do have a little bit on Tether ready to use for things like just other ventures. And if I have like 20, like some of the games go off Saturday, some go off Sunday, I can wait a bit. But I also can just take Bitcoin Cash from my wallet to bring to my wages and then just buy that Bitcoin Cash back later on a play. We'll see. So risk reward management within it. And I'm going to have to make a new chalkboard screen because what I've done is I've increased the size settings of my video to be 8 or no about 10, 12, 13% larger. So I don't have this as big as I want to. But I look at it as in sort of compounded gains, controlling risk management. I have lost and won so many pots in things like poker and different so many things. And cryptos, I mean, it's just, I'm so used to it by now. So therefore, I set out a play. This weekend I'm going to put out maybe, I don't know how many I'm going to find, but I wouldn't be surprised if I find 10 to 20 really good player picks, of which I would cipher it down probably. Well, if it's 20, I might even have to cipher it down to like 12 or 13. And I'd bet all 13 of them. Plus 6 sides on the NFL and college football. This is what I call tailing people. Gentleman's name is Ross Benjamin. I think it's OSGA. I referenced it last Sunday morning. I'm going to tail his information. I've already got one of his picks already tailed. Tailing means copying, sort of like copycat, which I know people are doing with my stuff that I do, which is fine. I'm taking the risk reward based on what he says. So there's going to be picks in there. So what's going to end up happening for me is a whole bunch of selections. If things go bad, I have to do what people talk about the stock market game, is stop loss. Meaning I'm investing X amount into the situation. I'm not going to keep on playing, letting it get out of control. I've seen a lot of problem gambling before. And all of these investments is simply from profits of the crypto game. Furthermore, that's on the losing situation. On the winning situation, things go well. Then I have to look at my increased bankroll and manage how I move on the rest of the way. There's going to be still the rest of the calendar year to play. And by the way, if they have it, if they put in NHL players, And I've been looking. I haven't found. I remember seeing it off and on last year, or the year before. And I was like, man, I could get into that. That's probably even more. I could find more diversities along the way. So it's a game. How can I? My a goal is to have the lowest risk, the highest reward, the most aggressiveness in play, and being the most tight at the same time as far as how I do things, which is all completely opposite back and forth. To try to be very aggressive and conservative at the same time, if, another way of putting it, instead of using the word tight. And you know what? In poker, I've done that pretty good in bankroll management, so I'm actually decent at it. So in understanding it, let's just assume I have 100 units that I play with. If into situations I get it up to like 180, 220, just decent games. And time goes on, I'm able to pick my spots, which means I can go aggressive into spots that can really fluctuate things. A, losing, say I'm at 220, I could end up having a fall down to 150 or something because of major aggressiveness, 130. And then I can reevaluate situation. I can do the starter over. I can come out on small gain, which is something I usually don't do in the small gain if I were to do that. But then I might be able to get a situation to turn this into 500, 400. Try to manage the numbers. Another way of doing it is if I have 100 units and I'm going to risk, say, maybe I have 100 units and I'm risking 7% of play. And then I've tripled that, so now I got 300. Well, now I might do 6% or 5% of play. So if I was betting 100 a game and my bankroll's triple, I might go 250 a game after that. Things like that, different aspects of that nature. But what I like about this, when you look at Bitcoin Cash, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to deposit exactly what I need to make my bets. After the weekend is over, at least if things go really good, I'm probably going to withdraw just a good amount and then figure I probably need around this much, meaning say I got 100 units and I bring it up to say 140. I have a good week. I'm thinking, you know what? I might just end up withdrawing. Well, maybe in the profits, 40. Or what I'll do is I'll keep it in. No, I won't do that. But yeah, on Monday, what I was gonna say, I would just wait till all my bets are in, and then on like Saturday I can withdraw it, and then I can. But no, I won't do that. I would just do it on like Monday or Tuesday, especially Monday. Just withdraw whatever I'm over. I know I'm probably not going to need any more than say 100 again, so I'll send 40 to my wallet because sending coins back and forth on the cryptos is just. I mean, another way of putting it is why would I rather hold funds just sitting there on an exchange or on some sort of account when I could actually just withdraw it for pretty much nothing, which is the cost of withdrawing Bitcoin Cash is cheap. I've also talked a lot about the hockey, and then that's in fantasy. That's a different game because it does. I can't bet with cryptocurrencies on it, which is just fiat currency. But I'm learning more on it, and I'm figuring out more situations enough where I'm too smart to play in the hockey, the safe game as they call it, or the blind game, which means I can pretty much reveal my strategy soon. The blind strategy, that is, as I'm now playing it on a more advanced level. I lost yesterday, but it was a situation in which I had a huge return on investment long term. Where I play this 100 times, as long as my team wins 45% of the time, and Vegas said it was 53% likely, then I'm good to go. So mathematics to me is something that's important. A lot of people who trade this game, if you're good at math, you can have an edge. If you're good at making banana bread, I don't know that that's going to give you too much of an edge. If you're good at doing things like building whatever, like building houses or building cars or fixing cars, that isn't going to help you. If you're good at things like playing poker, but you are, well, obviously you probably should be good at math at it, but just any type of game theory, type of games, implementing game theory into trading. How can you find a way of doing very well to increase your score? And score, Well, number as far as your cryptocurrencies are concerned, how many Bitcoin Cash, how many whichever coins you're holding that you own, how much they're worth in US fiat or whatever currency you're looking at, Canadian currency, Australian, New Zealand, British, whatever. How much are they worth? Those are score numbers. And when you have situations like you're playing a video game, you get scores like how many points you get for all the things you do. But those numbers, maybe you can buy things in the video game within the game, but you can't put food on the table with those scores. These scores, you can, but it also can stop you from putting food on the table. Meaning, there's a lot of people that play these games, and I've heard it so many times. And this is what I don't talk about much, and I should. Is you hear people about talking about like I've heard people like 99% of traders lose everything. Well, that's bullshit. But that's just being technical too. A lot of times they'll lose 70% and they'll just pull it out. That's not everything. But within what that's being stated, a high percentage of people will lose very significantly, yes. But that also depends on the time. Recently now, yeah, I think a lot of them would, especially over the last few little while in here during this retracement back. In a bull market, as was the case for really the start of the year in the last few weeks of December, all the way up until into like really this June period. A lot of traders were making money because markets were in a bull market, and going long and getting into and going long was profitable. Of course, they got their profits along the way by buying and selling, or were buying and holding, and well, now a lot of times they're buying up in here and selling down there. That's just where a lot of losing is coming in. And I suppose since the last couple of years almost, at least the last 22 months, 21 months rather, there is a lot of people that are definitely losing really big. But before that, at 21 months ago, everyone was winning. Because, well, I can't say everyone, but for a good portion of it. But a lot of it is because people don't know what they're doing. The big thing is people will say technical analysis doesn't work. Well, how good are you at technical analysis? Have you even given it a shot, I ask? I might not ask, but in this case I will. And a lot of them don't, and they're not too good at it. That's almost like saying things like when you're playing hockey, that poke checking doesn't work. Because when I do it, they always skate around me. Well, you suck at hockey, one might say. And you see where I'm going on that is if you're not good at using the technical analysis. Because look at what the words really mean. Being technical and analyzing the situation. Those that do that put more homework into the game, more study, more calculation, computation, more research on whatever they're doing. They could be in analyzing fundamental stuff, and that's still kind of technical analysis because technically these things are going on, and based on that analysis, this is just yada, yada, yada kind of stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.